So welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we are taking a look at Reluctant Enemies, and this is Operation Exporter, the Commonwealth Invasion of Lebanon and Syria in 1941. Now, this game is put out by MMP, and it's part of the OCS series that's designed by Dean Essig. This particular title was designed by Curtis H. Baer. I picked this up at Gen Con, and it was $25, and I was really intrigued because I've looked at this game before in the past because this is an introductory OCS game. And OCS stands for Operational Combat Series. And if you've ever seen an OCS game on the table, they're like hundreds of dollars, and the games are monster games. They're huge. And you're playing at a massive scale, and a lot of the game is, moving and fighting everything you'd expect, but supply is a huge part of that. In the OCS series, you have big monster games, quite intimidating for people. So they made this title to, give an introduction to this series so people could try it out before committing to a colossal game that might never ever get played, and it's $120, and then, what am I doing with that? So this was really, really affordable. I'm excited to play it and to learn the system to see if that's something I want to dive into. So this is a small, like a 1/2, 2-inch box. That's 1.5 inches probably box. So the campaign itself is an interesting one. This was Commonwealth forces, British and other Commonwealth forces, driving through Lebanon and Syria to kind of liberate it from the Vichy French in 1941. It's kind of a one-sided campaign. There wasn't a lot of resistance, and it was a successful Allied campaign against the Vichy there. So the outcome might not be something where you might not get a fair fight necessarily. It might be they may have gamed that here, but this is a learning the system type of game. So you can see the first thing in here is D6s, but you have the series rules. And this is version 4.1a. I don't know if that's up to date. This was published in 2014, so they may be on subsequent versions since then, but that's kind of what I've got here. So this is the series rules, and this is 48 pages. 48 pages, black and white, and it looks to be a lot of quite dense text. Looks like there's some pictures here and there describing bits and pieces, which will probably be helpful. Everything looks fairly well organized, everything that you'd expect. 5.5, 5.5a, 5.5b, and a game this big, you'd want it to be organized. This is quite scary for 48-page rules for an introductory game, but this is supposed to serve you for then 10 or 15 other OCS games that you now don't have to learn the rules as closely for. And this is the Reluctant Enemies. This is kind of the individual game rules. So this is kind of basic move, attack, supply, command, all that kind of stuff there. Then this is kind of your local rules, so to speak, for everything else that's in this box. So if you look, let's check it back here. So these are the gamers. I don't know what this is. Looks like this is air power. Not really sure how one would use that at this point. On the back of this rule book, it looks like there's a lot of tables and play aids. And just looking through here, am I going to photocopy this? Yes, I am. I kind of don't like it when they put the rules, the play aids on the back, just because if I'm flipping through the rules, looking through here, I might copy this, because I like to have mine laid out on the table next to my map, so I can have the rules and look at the tables without flipping. So you got amphibious landing tables, victory effects, things like that, naval barrage eligibility. Just a few different charts and tables on the back, which maybe we won't refer to that often, it won't be a big deal. But this is an extra 20, well, we'll not include that. I have 22, 23 pages. This is OOBs and acknowledgements, so not really rules. How to learn the system, what you should do. So really, that's a bibliography in the back. OOB, conclusion. Well, really, this is a lot of history and design notes. Oh, that's actually pretty good then. Historical commentary. Okay, so really, that's actually very good. And these are scenarios here. Okay, that's fine. So really, oh, that's really good. I'm quite happy about that. And this is an introduction, probably about what was going on. So, okay, the rules, 1, 2, 3, 4, at best 4.5 pages of rules. So that's actually really, really good. Yeah, that 48-page rule book's pretty intimidating for an introductory level game at least, but this is like 2 pages of extra rules, 4 pages of extra rules, which, again, and I really like it when they do this. Here's what this is, here's what it does. Here's the thing describing what this is. These are optional rules. I like it when they show you what they're talking about. Often games don't do that, and that's frustrating to me as someone learning a new system. So, really, another 25 pages, it's really 4 pages of rules on top of this big rule book. So, that's not too bad. I'm actually pretty happy about that. Looks like this is... Okay, this is just a little contents list. If it doesn't have this, give them a contact, so that's nice. Okay, and this is Operational Combat Series Rules and Explanation. Oh, this is nice. So this is kind of just like a summary of all that kind of stuff. Oh, nice big sequence of play. Oh, really like that. That's going to be helpful. Notes on play, initiative, supply, air power. This is going to be kind of how to use those, just generally some tactical advice, it looks like, basic concepts, things like that. So this will be nice to help learn that. I might read this before diving into the rules, so I have a bit of context for those rules. Okay, and so here we are. All right, here's the counters, and unlike most OCS games, 1 sheet of counters. So if you look here, this is fairly typical for MMP. These are really, really good counters. They're the really small ones, but if you look, they're very, very clear and, you know, quite simple. You've got these 2 numbers, but it looks like a superscript there. And really, these are the combat units up here. And there's a few air power units here as well, but this is it. This is the combat unit. So you're not going to get a ton of stuff on the board, which is nice if I'm trying to learn a game. Everything else here is administrative markers, which I hope isn't a lot of stacking, but we'll see. Looks like oil barrels and ammunition. This is probably supply points of various different levels. And a few other counters over here as well, which there's little petrol markers. That's so cute. These are probably airstrips of some form, but I'm not going to guess, because it might not be. But yeah, that's it. That's a sheet of counters. And these are kind of your normal, very easy to punch. These are just coming out nice and easily. I'm going to clip them around those. Don't need a lot of bags for these, not a lot here, but that'll be nice. And yes, okay. I love it when a game has this. Let's see if they have any other ones. Oh, fantastic. Alright, we're going to get these out together. So we have Commonwealth setup, and we have the Vichy setup. I love it when a game has these. Specifically, they have colored pictures of everything, where to set them up, how to do it, if reinforcements come in, what turn do they come in, and how do they come in on the board. I love, love, love that. I cannot abide when games don't do that. And these are thick card stock, so the reality is you can either set these up as a sled to have them on the side where you just kind of pick them up, or you could just put these reinforcements on the turn tracks if and when, and then just kind of keep them off the side for a reference, keep them in the box, and pull out when you need to. But this, again, helps make what is a complex system, or at least what seems to be a complex system, accessible. I like that kind of stuff. And here we have some charts and tables. Let's see, do we have just one of those? Oh, we've got 2, fantastic. Okay, so we have version 4.1a charts and tables. You know, it's like these 2 are identical. Air combat table, outline sequence of play. And remember, we had that extended one in that little pamphlet, which was nice. And these are double-sided, attrition, dump blowing, rail transport, supply, all this kind of stuff here as well. So that's nice. What I'm hoping is, read the big rulebook once, read all the introductory stuff, hoping that this can keep me tied over so I don't have to keep going back to the rules. But those are nice. Now, OCS Starter Guide. This is going to be great. This looks like it's a bit more involved as a starter guide. Let's see. This looks like it might be a whole kind of a playbook. An eager newbie takes on reluctant enemies. Yeah, it looks like they kind of have a little setup and describe, you know, going through a turn and what that might look like. Different situations like moving, advancing, attacking, checking for supply, all those kind of things. So this might be, again, this is good full color with a lot of pictures. This might be really helpful learning the system. Huh, that's going to be neat too. I think that's going to be a very, very helpful guide. And then the last thing in here, back of the box, last thing here is the map. So let's open this up so we can get a nice look at this. And this is a kind of a long up and down map, but we're just going to kind of do it sideways so we can get it all in. So this is the map. Alright, see if we can't see it all. And I don't know if my color is doing this justice, but it is a pretty, considering it's green and brown, this is a decently vibrant map. It's got the white hex overlay, and these are quite small hexes. They're the perfect size for those small counters, but just know that those are smaller hexes. And you see they've got the columns of numbers, so not every single one is numbered, but you just, they do, it looks like every 5, each column of every 5 is numbered. Down here you've got terrain effects chart, there's a turn track record over there as well, little holding boxes for when you need them, and a couple of different, there's a barrage box up here, so nice little play aids there. And this is also a big difference from the other OCS games. This is a one mapper. A lot of them are kind of, you know, 3, 4, 5 plus mappers, so normal size game. This will be a quick one to hopefully get to the table and learn and play. And I'm hoping it's a worthy introduction. I hope that I play this and I at least learn the workings of OCS. That's really what I'm looking for. So I'm probably at some point going to have to buy a big OCS game to see, hey, was this actually helpful in getting into that series? But that's Reluctant Enemies from MMP. Like I said, I got that at Gen Con from the Cool Stuff Inc. Ding It Dent sale, and it was 25 bucks. So I'm pretty happy about that. In fact, I actually paid 23 bucks because they had a coupon. And for 23 bucks, you can't argue with a war game like that. So we'll see how it is. You'll see a review for this at some point. I don't know how soon this is going to be because we've got a lot on the docket, but I'm pretty excited to play this and to learn what is such a highly esteemed system and to kind of see what it's all about. And I'm hoping that this does that for me. So appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com, and this has been Reluctant Enemies.